Howdy voters, it's been a long time. Today we are doing a video which could potentially become a series I do on my channel. A series which a lot of people will be interested in. It will be known, if it does go ahead, as Oldcottonham, and this will be the first episode of probably many to come. Today we're looking at the mill clusters on Fields New Road, which was made up of 6 mills, 3 on that side of the street and 3 mills going that way towards Chatterton Mill, which you can just see now. So, reason why I'm doing this series is there was a lot of mills in Oldham. At one point you had 1 mill for every day of the year. That was 365 mills. And you used to be able to see chimneys and mills all around. And many of these mill sites have changed, and I want to sort of show you what's currently occupying many of the mill sites, and that, which is probably quite obvious. A lot of them are now residential. So this series will take a look at all that. So how it will work, well, my format I'm thinking at the minute is I will take you down the street like I did with the Fields New Road tour, take you down one side looking at the mills, telling you all the facts on that side, and then we'll come back down the other side and show you some of the mills on the other side of the street with pictures and some well-known facts and some little unknown facts of the mills as well. So before we get started, majority of Fields New Road mills, there were 2 main architects, F.W. Dixon, who designed mills predominantly on that side of the road, and P.S. Stott, who designed mills predominantly on this side of the road, including that one behind. So it is going to be a little bit wet and rainy today, but we're going to start our tour. It's been a bit of a long intro, I do apologise. So the first mill we're talking about is Gem Mill, which is located just roughly along where these houses are here, going towards Butler Green and the garages now. And Gem Mill was designed by the architect F.W. Dixon. He designed around 3 or 4 mills on here that we'll confirm later. And the mill was built by Gem Spinning Company Limited in 1901. And it was extended in 1905. Then it amalgamated with a nearby Lark Mill, which is just off camera in that direction, in 1928. And it became Egyptian, or the company became Egyptian Spinners Limited was formed. The mill closed down in 1937, and it was sold to auction to the Spindles Board, and many other mills, or quite a few mills on here, had that same fate, where they were sold to the Spindles Board. And it was sold for 85 and 910. Then after it was sold off and it's had all this cotton stopped, Francis took over and used it for production of electrical components at their factory. And while this was all going on, there was a mill over in just off Old Lane near the Collier's Arms called the Acorn Mill, which became the home to the Gem Mill Cinema, or the Gem Cinema, which probably took its name from this gem here. And there's a screen, if I get round there to show you. If not, It's a little side street with nothing on it really. It's called Wem Street, W-E-M. So, this is Wem Street for you. And here you would have been able to have a nice good view of Chatterton Mill. And that's a new housing estate over there, which is built on the site of Chatterton Mill. So going back to this sign here, this sign has seen better days. It's all warped and faded, but I would just love that. I would love to just have that street name sign. It's so old. But I wonder where the name Wem comes from. Does anyone know? W-E-M, not Gem Street. Because when this mill was demolished, that's probably why the estate, which is just like a shot here, never got the names of like Gem, Diamond, etc. as their new street names, because of course similarity to Wem Street. But it would have been nice for them streets to be named Gem, Diamond, etc. Have a little, like that kind of theme with it. So I covered everything. Oh, it was last occupied by Pleasleys, as we know of, and it was demolished in the 2000s to make way for these new houses, which were built by Redrow. And these houses here replaced some former terraces, which we covered in the Fields of Road video. But one thing that what I weren't clear on is, see where the two white buildings are when you shot just there? The one nearest to the black, the one furthest away from the Blacktown bus stop near me was the site of Industrial Street, which was just one parallel roughly where the new Shillingford Road is. So the next mill we'll take a look at is Lark Mill, which is further down the road. So shall we have a look at that and see what's there? Come on then. Right, so Lark Mill is roughly just here, where the transport firm is and the industrial estate just further off shop that way. And Lark Mill was also built by F.W. Dixon. And it was, oh no, F.W. Dixon was an architect. It was built by Lark Spinning Company in 1901, same time as Chatterton Mill. It was then amalgamated with Chatterton Mill in 1928, and it's the same reason it would become the Egyptian cotton and stuff like that. They were taken over by the Spindle Board in 1938 for demolition. It weren't saved, unlike Chatterton Mill. And then after its demolition in 1938, it became the site of the World War II Airway Shelters, which took most of this site, and this was one of two mills which became Airway Shelter sites. We'll come across the second one later in this video. So this side was the transport depot here, which is just there, and then the one just off shot just behind me became like a baker's and put on the map up. I've covered it anyways in the 1970s. Yeah, 1950s, 1970s all this was turned into industrial. But for a while it was just wasteland. So the next one is Monomill. It's not going to be Monomill, this is going to be Nile Mill. My apologies, I'm out of sync in my paperwork. So Nile Mill was Pierre Stott's mill. Philip Sidney Stott, he designed that mill. and it was built by the Nile Spinning and Dublin Company Limited. It was the largest ring spinning mill in the world at the time, and the last cotton mill built with beam steam engine gears and vertical shafts. It had multiple extensions in its time, and one of the most notable ones is if you look up on the mill tower, which will show you a close-up later, you've got like little pillared windows on the second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth floor going up to the top. Then you've got big long vertical windows on the top floor, and that was where the additional level was added in one of the extensions. And that's why you can see the differences in the top level of the mill. But we'll show you that closer. And the mill became the branch of the Crossed and Eaton Limited, something like that. I'll put that a correction up on the screen, in the 1950s. It ceased production in 1960s, and it's used for chicken manufacturers. Later, a warehouse for household textiles and linen. And now it's multiple occupancy, and it's going through a massive refurbishment at the minute, this mill, and a restoration. Throughout, and it was for a good couple of years, in the last 10 years, it was home to Manchester paintballing arena, and now it's home to like PJ Uses and car dealerships. It's also been home to Cold Shields Manufacturing Limited, but I don't know if that's still operational or not in the mill. So, the next mill is Monomill, which is at Wamsley. We're just on White Street, looking towards Mona Road, which is just down that direction. So we're looking at the two mills here, Ramsey and Mona. And we're going to start with Ramsey, because Ramsey Mill came out onto this road here, so you could see it from Fieldsbury Road. But you're saying, right, Ramsey Street's further down there. I know it is. But Ramsey, if you look at more pictures, I'll try and find them. Ramsey Mill stuck its head out here. So Monomill was all on that side of the road, where them houses are that way, and Ramsey Mill went behind me here and these houses this way. So Ramsey Mill were built by F.W. Dixon. No, it was architect F.W. Dixon. And it was built the Ramsey Mill Company Limited in 1906. I've got it down in 1968. What they built then. And it ceased production in 1934. It was used for cotton waste and warehousing after it ceased production. A dye house was built in 1947 with a number of other buildings on the site. It was mostly demolished in 1979, and the front office section was saved and in multiple occupancy, but I don't know when this estate was built if them front office sections was demolished to make way for the housing on here. If anyone can confirm that, please let me know down in the comment section below. So the next one, while we're on this same location shoot, we're going to see the Monomill. Monomill was built by F.W. Dixon. Why do I keep saying that? Architect. It was designed by F.W. Dixon. It was built by the Monomill Limited in 1905. It had extensions between 1919 and 1920, and it was reported as Monomill's 1920 Limited. It closed down for a few years in the 1930s, and then it resumed. Then all production ceased in August 1959. It was partly demolished, with some of the remaining parts of the mill remaining in multiple occupancy. It was fully demolished in 2000, and it's now a housing estate, as you can see on these nice houses here, and it goes round like in a big circle shape up to Chatterton Mill. And if we just actually spin you around here, there, that was site of 172 Fieldston Road. Just there. When the roundabout and this estate was constructed, I had to knock the house down, I think, to widen this road junction. But yeah. So that's I have done a video on this a while ago when I found out all the street names here, Mona, Eric, Lackey and Ramsey on the other side, all themed to Isle of Man, because Monomill is Latin for the Isle of Man name back in the day. So when all this estate was constructed and kept the Isle of Man names and made everything Isle of Man themed. We're at our last mill for today, folks, in this first episode of Oldcottonham. I hope you enjoyed it so far. We're going to take a look at this mill just behind us here. This is Chatterton Mill. It was designed by Sidney Stop. It was the second mill on here, so F.W. Dixon designed 4 mills. No, 3 mills. 4 mills, yeah. And Sidney Scott did 2. Niall and this one. This was his first mill he built here, or he designed, and it was built by the Chatterton Mill Company Limited in 1885. And there's a date stone just behind all them hidden trees. It had multiple extensions in its lifetime, and it was occupied in 1936 by S. Bond Company Limited, and spinning continued until 1959 or 69, and Courtland and Silo Group moved into the mill and involved in the operations of this mill. And one of these mills, I haven't wrote it down, I can't remember, it might be the Dublin mill on Niall Mill, where when it stopped doing cotton, it produces Dublin again. I think it was one of them. But yeah. I was just packing up when I remembered I forgot to tell you something. This was the second site of the Airway Shelters, and they are still visible, or was visible until recently, on the Metrolink line, but with all overgrown and foliage you can't really see them until the winter time. But they're tucked at the back of the Chatterton Mill, and there was I'll show you where on access actually. I'll throw a clip in when I do the close-ups. There used to be a little footpath coming from Agnes Street down to Fieldsview Road, but it's now all blocked off and overgrown. So people used to either come from Agnes Street direction down to them shelters, or it was just used from the mill workers back in the day, because all on this side was open, so people from Mona, Ramsey, Melrose, Butler Green all could come down to these airway shelters and take shelter. So yeah, forgot to tell you about that. So, just up there is the former footpath to Angus Street, and behind that building there is where the Chadderton Second World War bunkers are. So, that's all 6 mills covered on this street: Gem, Lark, Nile, Mona, Ramsey and Chadderton. If you like this format, let me know down in the comment section below. And without further ado, we will see you on the next one. Voters, see you soon.